If you're just joining, we're gonna start on our back. Now, if you got your blocks, let me show you here. I love this pose for so many reasons. I don't start class enough in this one here. Let's lay on our block. Look at upper back, lifted by the block. My hips are on the floor. Second block is with your head. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can use throw pillows. Just notice my hips are on the floor, okay? My head is supported. Now, I can bring the soles of my feet together that my knees fall open. Maybe throw those arms nice and wide too. Really, so many things happening on the musculoskeletal level. But what I really love about this posture is the ability it brings into belly breath. So today, our little kind of focus trend here in class today is going to be breathing practice. So once you get comfortable here, say you don't have any props and you want to take it a little soft, no worries. Here, look at that. That's the same thing, guys. Okay, you don't need to go crazy with the block, especially if you have anything going on, any pain. Okay, so either here, you can even throw your arms a little higher. Either way, you can bring the soles of the feet together. If that's too much, you can always skip that too. You can just do Shavasana. Okay, but if you're with me on the blocks, what happens when we throw our body into extension, right? So Sphinx pose, Cobra pose, Vira pose, is that your rib cage tightens because it's in its normal, against its normal range, it's kyphosis, so forward bend. As you bring it into back bend, the ribs tighten up a lot. So the belly breath becomes very aware, prominent, okay? So I want you to recognize that in this first position. Your head is on the block probably, your chest is maybe on the block, but your hips are on the floor, all right? And now I want you to take a nice big inhale in your nose, feel your abdomen lift, okay? And spread. And then big exhale, feel the abdomen lower and kind of contract. And I want you to just close your eyes and take a few more breaths here. Close your eyes. Try to let your bones get kind of heavy now. You fidget a little bit, right? Make sure you're comfortable here. There's a lot of what I call that functional fidgeting, where your purpose is to find a more comfortable kind of sweet spot in the pose. Even for an advanced person, done this thousands of times, they still got to kind of adjust once you get in, okay? There are ways to do it stronger. Block could be on a higher setting. People stack 2 blocks if you want to go big. But just connect to your belly breath. As you inhale, expand the abdomen to the sides, forward and back, even up and down. And then exhale deeper than normal so you feel kind of the core squeeze inward from all directions. The belly breath, yogis, there's many, many layers here to talk about. The digestive tract, serotonin, right? Most of your immune system is in your digestive tract, 70 or 80%, right? It's also where your serotonin is produced. They call that the antidepressant chemical. There's depression's on the rise, especially in young people, right? Well, all the young people are eating like crap and their digestive tract isn't working well. So this is bringing stimulation and kind of cleansing throughout the abdominal tract. It also is stimulating what's called your vagus nerve. It's a nerve that's coming right from the brain center now. The parasympathetic, our healing, more evolved, artistic, repairing brain center. And this nerve reaches out with its dendrites and touches every organ in your digestive tract. And as you're inhaling here into the abdomen, if you're just joining, we're laying on our back. I have people set up on their blocks kind of like this. Their butt's on the floor. First block is for the upper back. Head is for your second block there. And then the feet together, knees over. And we're also getting the lymph, right, in the underarms and here and the inner thighs. So really, you're starting to stimulate the body in so many fantastic ways. But the belly breath here is the main focus to stimulate the vagus nerve, which controls the parasympathetic. The gut controls how, in a main way, how your mind is either in stress or feeling good, okay? So I want you to take another few moments there. Some deep breaths. You can start to bring the breath up into the chest more. spreading the rib cage, the collarbones. Last few moments here, yogis. Now, don't overlook it. It's a really big stretch. It's passive, so the block is kind of pushing your bones through space because your muscles are disengaged. So we don't want to hold too long. I'll let you decide if you want to hold longer. Eventually, take your hands on your outer thighs, help your thighs back together. Okay, feet on the floor now. If your head is fall back, you kind of can use your hands now to lift your head. So you were assisting the body. Then you lift the head slowly, and then you're going to use your core to either sit up, your arms to sit up, or roll to the side. It's really hard to beat that start, guys. You know, child pose is fantastic, but that one, man, it's just unreal. Make sure you do that one regularly when you're doing your own practice, or you get here a little early, all right? Let's start going here, guys. We're gonna meet laying on our back just to kind of let the body relax just for a moment, inner thighs and spine. Okay, let's start our warm up here. No rush, all right? We're gonna bring our knees into our chest. And just like it said, it's called a warm up. We want to warm up the body. Temperature, that's energy, heat, and blood flow. Start to breathe deep now, a little bit more. I don't like to use the word aggressive, but strengthen your breath. Power breathing, assertive breathing. I'm drawing circles with the knees. I'm starting to move the breath in the body more. Okay, and then don't forget, I draw knees together in circles, massaging the sacral connections. It's like an anchor for your muscles. And then look at this. I kind of draw the knees in opposite directions individually, but at the same time. And don't forget that is very different, okay? And we're going to go right into activating now. I keep going. You take as long as you want in this subtle movement space. I'm going to take my block if you have it. If you don't, pretend like you have one. Your blocks have a magnetic kind of pulling together. The feet are about hips width distance. Start by pressing your lower back down. Tilt your pelvis, pelvic tilt. Start to inhale, reach your arms back. Lift your hips for bridge. So stretch in your underarms, yogis. Get the lats opening. Okay, similar to down dog. Big exhale, lower back, vertebrae by vertebrae comes down. And then I take my little crunch here. Okay, that's the abs. Keep your hips down, your feet down for now. Okay, big inhale. Start to reach back. Lift those hips. Kind of pause for a moment too, though. Okay, exhale, squeeze. It's like a cat-cow. It's basically the same movement. Okay, inhale. It's kind of like your cow. A little less neck extension. Exhale. It's kind of like your cat. I think it'll take, I like to say about 6 to 15 reps. It depends on how slow you're going, how you're feeling. I do that like every day almost, and today I just noticed I'm feeling like really good, really strong, no pain, minimal restriction, which means I can like go further into range actively, easy. When you do something very regular, routine, you really can measure results and get a lot more feedback. You can compare days in a row, right? And I just really noticed like, whoa, I was feeling like super good. Yesterday, my exercise was basically walking, a lot of stretching, a lot of light movements. I didn't really do anything strenuous. So now I'm feeling like really good from that. Okay, let's keep going here, guys. We're gonna bring our chest up. Just remove your block, okay? Lift your chest. Inhale that right leg forward, exhale it in. A little bit movement in the legs now. Now, if you want more, you're kind of going forward and back here. Pretty early for that. If it hurts your neck, you're here. If you're really warmed up, you're here, okay? Just go slow, breathe, okay? The goal is to turn muscles on and to increase blood flow, to have quality muscular contractions, quality breath work, and heightened self-awareness. I know a lot of quote-unquote yogis who don't do much yoga. I know a lot of people who've never walked into a yoga class, but they have a very yogic approach to their body, to their life. Yoga is something that's happening inside. It's more of like perception than it is like an actual solid thing you can grab. Okay, now let's keep going, guys. Let's bring our feet down. Now let's hold our bridge. Arms down, feet down, hips lift. I'm going to cue a couple subtle things here, guys. I want you to remember that this hip thrust, bridge, done in many forms, is a foundational exercise. It is one of the number one glute stimulating exercise. It's second to pistol squat, but that's not practical. This is how we strengthen our butt. If you sit a lot, your butt is weak, all right? Pull your heels toward your shoulders. If you'd like, grab your outer edges of your mat, roll your shoulders under. Come on, lengthen through your core. Work posterior tilt. If you want to try something, cat-cow. Make sure you're pressing your big toe down. As I inhale, I arch my back. As I exhale, I almost round subtly. So my lower back goes lower than my hips. Inhale, my hips go lower than my lower back. Exhale. It's subtle, guys. Cat-cow. Anytime we're in contraction, it's more difficult to mobilize, to move. But that's what I really teach in general. Let's work on stabilizing unstable movement and mobilizing to stable or tight positions. All right, so a little cat-cow in that bridge hold. If you're trying it, no big deal. If not, just a little tweak on something we normally do. Let's keep going, guys. We're going to lower our butt down. You're going to take a squeeze. I'll demonstrate what's next. Block between thighs. Arms go down wide. Now, I suggest always starting with less range of motion, yogis. All right, when in doubt, move an inch. Build up 2 inches, 3 inches. We're going to inhale our knees to the right, a few inches. Hold, hold, hold. As I roll my knees right, I roll my left ribs down. Exhale back to center after an extra breath. Inhale, knees are going to go left. Exhale. Now, this is a pretty strong start, yogis. I usually teach this like more in the middle or end of class. But it's doable. Just do it in a softer way than you might do it in a class where you're really warmed up. I really want you to tune into your core. Connect your attention, the witness, the observer, to the core here. Use your breath. Now, this is strengthening, but it's also stretching. So feel the stretch quality, kind of lengthen through the core. Okay, and notice I'm going side to side. If you need another demo because the angle isn't a good visual, you can see here, I'm going side to side. We're not stretching per se, really. It is always active, but there's still that stretch quality. You can feel it through the core. Last, couple times side to side. That looks good, just not too fast. If you're new to it, slow it down. Give it a chance, and the muscles a chance to turn on. I hope extra core work is okay with you guys. All right? Some of you know, a lot of days we're not going to do any abs, but some days we're going to do a lot. All right, now let's take our time. We're not going to hold that stretch yet. That's going to come up soon. All right? We're going to bring our knees back to our chest. You're going to take a breath or two just to regulate. We're doing an extra bridge to start. A little bit different. If you have the block, always keep it there for today. Let's lift those hips. Bridge. The main thing I need you to do is recognize posterior tilt. So if you don't understand pelvic tilt, I want you to watch a couple of YouTube videos today. Search understanding pelvic tilt. I want you to see it clearly in a lot of forms. That'll change your yoga practice. Let's slowly lift our heels here, okay? And put the heels down. Lift the heels. Put the heels down. Take 2 to 3 more. So these little heel lifts, just getting that calf, that ankle really stimulated, all right? I'm going to keep going, yogis. Lower back comes down. We're not done with core yet. Knees hover. Feet hover. Now, reach your arms up. Prayer. Don't intertwine your fingers, please. Lower back presses down. It looks like I'm in table on my back, right? I'm going to inhale my arms back. Exhale, I'm going to crunch. That's a very subtle twist outside the right thigh. Now, I don't want to put my shoulders down. I'm just going to inhale, unwind the twist a little, reach back, keep my shoulders hovering. Exhale, I'm going to twist left. The goal is to keep those muscles contracted and move very subtle. Exhale. So inhale is eccentric tension strength. Exhale, concentric compression strength. If you know your myology, yogis, exhale, inhale, exhale. If it's too much, just crunch forward. If it's too much, lay and meditate. Last few side to side, a subtle twist. I'm not suggesting a deep twist. We already did the big twist. This is that second kind of more tightening compression variation. There's not as much compression in that first knee one. Now it's a big compression crunch, okay? Last couple, yogis. If you can always bring your legs more forward too, right? So if you want to go crazy, your legs, it's in low boat. So you're kind of doing the same thing. It's subtle, okay? It's a subtle twist in low boat. Not a big one, all right? Now, I'm going to keep going. Nice job there. Knees into chest. Slowly. It might feel good to do this here at this point. I saw a few of you doing it earlier. Good intuition. Knees side to side. Okay, just two more things here on the back, guys. Knees in the chest. Left leg release. Right hands intertwined behind right leg. Inhale, bend, point toe, pull knee towards shoulder. Exhale, actively resist, which means as my leg starts to straighten, by activating my thigh, my ankle, I'm also not letting via the hands, my leg go away. So my hands resist my leg and my leg is fighting my hands. And then the same thing, inhale, exhale, pull, 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 flex, straighten. Okay, go ahead. See, I'm slowly activating and pulling. Okay, I did my Nordic. If you guys know the Nordic hamstring curl, it's basically the best hamstring exercise you could do in calisthenic form. I did it like 3-4 days ago. My hamstrings are so sore still. And what do we want to do? We don't just want to stretch that. We want to reciprocally inhibit it. We want to work activating our thigh against the tightness building of the hamstring. Now listen, bend your right knee, take it across the body in the twist. Right arm reaches out, deep breathing here, yogis. So go back to your breath. Twists are a great place to also expose abdominal or belly breath. Just notice I'm readjusting my hips. Last thing here on the breath, on the back here, and then we're gonna stand you up and get fuller body movements going, okay? Beautiful. Yeah, some of you guys are taking different twists or, taking a bind, using a strap. I love it. All right, and then when you're done, let's come back to center. Start with just both knees into your chest. It's Apanasana. It's kind of like our reclining child pose. You squeeze your knees actively into your chest. Good for your colon there. Right leg or release. Fingers intertwine opposite pinky underneath the left hamstring. So you're like this on your back. You're going to take that big inhale, point your toe, pull your knee toward your shoulder, bend that knee, hyper, and then exhale, work on straightening, 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 pulling, pulling, flexing that foot. Okay, go ahead. Again, 6 to 12, 15 reps. Eyes are closed. Breath is being used to support the body, to help it also lengthen, feel good. They say that the quality of your yoga pose or the quality of your vinyasa is based on the quality of your breath. So people always say, how's my yoga pose look? Am I doing it good? And I say, hold on, let me get close. And I watch their breath, right? So it's more what's happening on the inner layers, because slowing down the awareness is going to expose things in the body and you'll make quote unquote corrections. Now, when you're done, looks like most of you are already ahead of me. Left knee over left hip. You might scoot your hips a little left and knee across the body. So there's our big spinal stretch. Big hip stretch as well. Look to the left. I want the neck involved now. Deep breath into your belly, your lower back. And if you can, it's really a 3-part breath. By 3 parts, I mean abdomen, middle, ribs, and side ribs, and then the upper chest and back. So think of that 3 category. Now, I didn't mention it earlier, but the yogis, they're not like anatomists usually, but they're more like energetic scientists, more of that kind of mysticism and a little bit what's called, it's like the spiritual eternal body. The yogis say when you breathe into the belly, you control the manipura, which is the ego, the fire that burns within. And if the fire gets too out of hand, it destroys. So the yogis always talk about if the breath is too high up in the chest, the fire goes crazy. We become these like chest breathers. It's like high stress, ego and pride. And then by controlling our fire via the breath, right? Breath can put out fire or it can make it stronger, but it's a controlled way to control our ego. The breath into the belly, okay? There's a little bit more kind of, deeper level there. Let's come back into the center. Nice job on your back. If you want one more bridge, you're more than welcome. A happy baby might feel good, just to kind of close out our back on a creative note. Notice what I'm doing. I love to straighten the legs in happy baby, bend and straighten, pull, bend. Very intuitive. A seasoned practitioner would maybe go to plow, okay? But, that's a big pose in the beginning of the class with minimal movement, okay? So I'm demonstrating that plow for my people who want to push it. Either way, you're going to take about 3 or 4 more breaths there, and then eventually we're going to do this rocking. And I want you to practice this, guys. This is not an in-between. Can you control it more, put more intention into this? All right, so we're basically done there. No more yoga on the back today, all right? When you're upright, no rush. Swing it around, downward dog. If you need cat-cow, you can, but we already did it, so I'm going to skip it. I want you to eventually meet in down dog. And you take a couple breaths to pedal it out. We already did the dynamic hamstring stuff. Might feel kind of more open than normal. Notice, okay? Take a few deep breaths, feeling out your down dog, and then slow down your movement. Think more energy work breath. So head hangs low, palms press down, sit bones lift up and back, legs activate. If your heels don't touch, it's fine. Just energetically heels toward the floor. It's like your heels, the back of your heels have laser beams kind of energetically, like bringing the heels toward the floor. It doesn't have to get there. It's fine. It took me years to get my heels down in down dog. And then you let your head hang low, maybe take a deep inhale here, and then big exhale even out the mouth, kind of just a cleansing breath. So let's take a few more breaths here. All right, now go slow. We're going to eventually lift our heels and round forward to our plank pose. Find your first weight bearing on the arms. Plank. Think about like tightening everything up symmetrically after all that stuff on our back and the asymmetry. So squeezing the butt, the thighs, gripping your fingers, working on rotating your elbow crease forward. Again, I turn my hands slightly out. Our goal is to create lateral rotation patterns, and life creates medial. So I'll literally like turn my hands out. So my index finger is at least facing directly forward or slightly out. So hold your plank now. Take a few more breaths. If you're feeling excellent, you hover your right foot an inch now. Hover the right foot an inch. If you're feeling like super fantastic, with your right foot hovering, you shift weight to your right hand, you come to the fingertips of your left hand, your left arm forward. Now, maybe it's too early for that, but if we did do a good amount of warm up in the core and the legs, both movements still. So, maybe you take it further if you're up to it, okay? You put the left hand down, the right foot down, you hover your left foot, last few breaths in your plank hold. After this, sun salutation, be a couple rounds. If you're hovering your left foot, right arm might reach forward. So we call that balancing plank. I'll tell you, you want to get a strong core, don't forget this one. Downward dog is next. Inhale, slow exhale.
Inhale, bend knees, look forward, hop or step forward. Now breathing and moving. Inhale, we'll half lift. Think full body movement. Exhale, forward bend. Chair pose, drop your butt. Reach those arms high. Take a breath or two, just feeling it out. First time, get those legs firing. Remember, Dharma always says, you can tell an advanced yogi because they love chair pose, okay? Big inhale, they're the first one in there, last one to leave. Big inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Nice job, high plank. Now taking it through your chaturanga, a movement from high plank to low plank. Add extra push-ups if you're working on your upper body strength. Eventually, nice inhale, come into your cobra up dog, maybe taking an extra breath. I'm in the middle space. They call it full cobra. Not quite an up dog just yet. Lower would be the active, gentle cobra. Tuck the chin, tuck the toes, use your core, downward facing dog. Step your feet a little closer together. Big inhale, right leg goes high. Take an extra breath, kind of opening up the hip. This is stuff you know, guys, so make it your own artistic expression, okay? Inhale, right leg goes high. Lift the left heel, slowly shift forward to plank. Right knee to forehead, slow it down, step the right foot forward. You can move faster next round. Back heel seals, inhale, let's rise up, finding our warrior one. So first lunge and first squat, right? Right hip pulls back. See how my right hip wants to go forward? Right hip back. So you can take that hip crease and pull it back. It's like you give yourself an assist, okay? You reach those arms up high as you ground those feet down. It's kind of tricky. You want to press the big toe of both feet down, but also the outer edges of both feet down. So you supinate and pronate, right? If you notice, you roll to the outer edge of your feet more, you press your big toe down. If you press your big toe down really well and the outer edge of your foot lifts, push the outer edge down. So it's a little different person to person. Okay, big inhale here. Let's reach up. Big exhale, hands at the front. Go slow. Right leg goes up and back. Take your vinyasa chaturanga. Some of you are ready for something more. Inversion, handstand. You know I welcome that always in class. Some of us might need to back off a little, taking a little child pose or a cat-cow. We'll meet back in down dog at your pace. Big inhale, left leg goes high. Take 2 to 3 breaths. Yogis, this stretch is fantastic, right? What we call half scorpion. So that left leg is kind of up, bending over like a big scorpion tail. It's like your left foot's reaching for your outer right hand or shoulder. Now take the movement slow. Big inhale, left leg goes back high when you're ready. Left leg high, lift the right heel. Now shift slowly forward to plank. Left knee, forehead. Step that left foot inside your left thumb. Don't forget you can use blocks under the hands to make it a little easier. Let's rise up to our high lunge or warrior one. Warrior one, back foot sealed, angled forward. Okay, high lunge, you're on the ball of the back foot. I'll let you decide. Either way, front knee bends. Pull those ribs in a little bit. Reach high, but relax the shoulders a little bit, the traps. Close your eyes now. Take a few more breaths. Work on grounding the feet down, but reaching the arms higher, opposites. Work on squeezing those legs together, lengthening your side bodies, and squeezing your pelvic floor, the perineum muscles. So slow down, be more aware of the subtle contractions in the body. And then big inhale, no rush, right? Take your time, hands on the front of your mat, left leg goes back and up. And then take yourself through your vinyasa, meet back in down dog. And what I'm gonna just say to do now is I'll lead you through once, and then I'm going to give you like 2 to 3 minutes. You go through a couple times on your own. You get your first handstand in. You get your first personal stretch in if you need to do a pigeon or something. Downward dog yogis, big inhale. If you're ready, just go on your own. Inhale, bend knee, look forward. Hop, float, step forward. With your breath now, inhale. Remember, we got to practice full body movements. Exhale. Chair pose is our inhale. If you'd like to stand up, exhale, hands to heart, a little squeeze of the butt, lift of the chest. Nice inhale brings you back into your chair. You pause, you feel it just for a brief moment. Nice exhale brings you over the toes. Inhale is the half lift. Take your time, meet in plank, bend those elbows to low plank. That's a big movement, right? The step back and the lower down on the exhale. Inhale is that nice back bend. Down dog is the exhale. So it's not really like pose work, not yoga positions, more like movement, okay? Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale is warrior one. Remember, I'm not setting pace, I'm kind of reminding. Exhale, hands plant, right foot back, take it down. Do your left side, yogis, and then if you have music, turn it up. And let's flow a little bit, breathing and moving. Create the most heat, flush everything, so we can spend the next 25 minutes after this working on poses, more strength variations, and more stretch variations. All right? Have some fun, yogis. Get loose. Say you're not really feeling the flow, right? No big deal. Some days you feel good into it, want to flow. Some days you don't. Watch me here. If you need something easier, I even mentioned it. Pigeon stretch. Good stuff, right? You just kind of walk the feet back, okay? Walk that left foot back, sit up tall, maybe come forward. That's fine. No big deal. Roll that left hip towards your right heel, lengthen your spine, okay? Looks good, yogis. Yeah. If you want to handstand against the wall, that's where it's a good place to start. You kind of turn to the wall, jump up, hold. Just working on straightening those arms, pulling those ribs in. And you can just engage your muscle in general, right? So point the toes, squeeze your butt. Nice. Don't be shy to add postures into your flow. Okay, last few rounds. Take another minute and a half, 2 minutes. We want to think like, what's the most complex ways we can move, right? You stand up and then you go back all the way down and you lay down on your chest and then you lift the chest and then you're back at the back of your mat, you're at the front of your mat. We're moving forward, back, up, down, one-legged forward, one-legged back in many ways. Sun salutation is brilliant, Even the modern biomechanist, if you look up today, yogis, best dynamic exercises, sun salutation is on all the lists. So we have the modern science movement experts agreeing with the ancient yoga formula. When you see that, guys, you know it's good stuff. All right? I know it's tough for some of us and can be repetitive, but we need that repetition and we got to face what we don't like a little bit, okay? If you need a little breather, last minute here, slow down because we're going to do more postures. Sit and meditate, hold child pose, okay? If you're feeling the heart rate spike, that's what we want. We want in exercise to be these moments where the heart is working much more than it normally does, okay? It's not easy, guys. Okay, so, no rush, right? If you would like, we can all actually take a seated meditation. A lot of these are still flowing. Eventually, how about we all meet in seated meditation just for a brief moment here, just to ground and center. Come back to that breath work where you're inhaling slowly, exhaling. Work on calming your nervous system and your heart rate with your breath, with your body. Now still the body. Bring your attention to your breath and slowly inhale, slowly exhale. So we're in the peak of class now, yogis. Warmed up that core like crazy. Did some dynamic stretching, movements. You're really warm. So now we go for the more challenging stuff, which slowly starts to lead into the biggest stretches too, okay? Listen to your body, all right? Don't force everything. It's okay to take it easy and hold more basic variations. Downward dog. So we're gonna try something today, all right? Think side plank. Easier variations are with the knee down or on the forearm, or we're gonna try a moving side plank today. We're gonna shift forward to plank, drop our heels to the left, bring our right arm high. All right, yogis, let's do it. Now, it's not easy, all right? I'm gonna exhale my right hand kind of toward my left wrist, even under. Inhale, up and open, even turn the chest a little to the sky. Exhale, right hand toward left underarm. Inhale, right arm out and up. It's a common exercise movement. I like to add these kind of modern approaches to our poses. If it's too much, you can do it with the knee down. Look, same thing, look. Just try to feel and shift weight into your left shoulder a little bit more. Grip the left hand. We haven't done this one in a long time. If you want a whole regular side plank, you know that's fine. A lot of times when I'm doing my practice, it's kind of like hold side plank a breath or 3, maybe add that, this movement, maybe add a hip dip, maybe add a hip leg lift or forward and back. I kind of make it this artistic expression, more like the dance, okay? Side plank, second side, looks good. When I see a few of you starting to drop down, let's start switching sides. So when I see kind of like the average, some are resting, some are still going, we'll move on. People feeling strong, stay at your pace, hold longer if you'd like. So again, the left arm stacks over the right, and I kind of turn the chest subtly down, and I inhale, open. Use that breath, right? Exhale, inhale. Take a few more. Again, knee down. Some of you is just holding plank. Good job. When the yoga teacher gets a little too crazy, you draw your boundary and stay at where you need to be. Now, let's keep going, guys. Left hand is going to eventually come down to the floor. Lift the hips back up and down, dog. Challenge pose here, guys. Shift the weight into the hands. Lift the heels really high. Walk your feet a quarter of the way forward. Shift more weight into your hands, a little bit more into your heels, a little bit more into your hands, a little bit more into your heels. So a little subtle work here. Walk your feet another quarter forward. Shift your weight into your hands. Lift your heels. Lift a little weight back. Heels, toes. Now shift weight into your hands. Lift your heels as high as possible. Hold, 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 hold. Now walk your feet another quarter forward. Keep your heels as high as possible. No more rocking. Shift your weight into your hands more. Come on. Go slower. Lift the heels. Shift the weight into your hands. Heels high as possible. Weight into your hands as much as possible. Yeah. Now walk your feet a little closer. Uh-oh. Is anyone doing this with me? No one? Walk your feet between your hands. Okay. Now drop your heels. Step your left foot back. High lunge. We bring it into the legs. Shake your arms out a little bit. Okay. Reach those arms high. Let's go for our deep twist. We already did one deep twist. Let's get another in here. Hands in prayer. Let's bow and twist. Left elbow outside the thigh. You can always drop your knee. Just work your lengthened spine. For those of us feeling good, keep the back toe tucked. If you're feeling excellent, your arms could spread. Left arm, so bottom arm outside front leg. And a little bit later in class, you can push that kind of twist active variation. Last 3 breaths. Yeah, some of you are doing like hamstring stretch. I'm not going to do pyramids today. We did the dynamic hamstring release on our back. We also did a couple reciprocal inhibitions. So I'm not really going to, we tend to overstretch our hamstrings, yogis. in yoga, okay? Now go slow. Big inhale, arms go up, high lunge. Now straighten the front leg. Let's do our awkward balance. Lift your back heel, lift your front toes. We're on the front heel. The only thing on the floor is the back mound of the foot and toes and the front heel. Do you see this? Whoa. Try it. And if it's too much, you just bring, if it hurts the heel or something, just bring your feet closer together and you're here. If that's all too much, hold tree pose. Okay, that's fine. Something where you're unstable and you're working, not falling. And that's called balancing splits. That's classic, okay? Not really taught that much in yoga. It's surprising because all those postures could go into that active balance form. Now go slow. Final pose here. This is a big movement. We're going to go for it today. People want to go a little softer. Just hold warrior 3. Or bend your front knee, hands in prayer. If you want to go big, you can go reverse prayer, fist, warrior 3, left foot lifts. Drop your left hip down, lift your left leg up. If you want to try it today, we're going to go for those kind of Shiva or dragon squats. I bend both knees. I get low. They call this like baby dragon. I pull my left knee into my right calf. I round. Think cat-cow. Inhale up. Warrior 3. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now, that is not an easy movement. Like I said, holding warrior 3 with a little bend. Remember we did that like last week? Watch this easier variation, hands on blocks. Little bend, straighten and lengthen arms. Look at that. If it's too much, yogis, skip it, it doesn't matter. You do half of the stuff we're doing in class, you're already doing a lot. It's okay it can sometimes be hurtful for the ego. Everyone's still going and you're trying to, if you feel lazy, you're beating yourself up, judging. It's okay to skip a lot, guys, okay? Now take your time. We're gonna meet with the left foot at the front of the mat, back to the chair pose. So just take a moment in symmetry. So symmetry for legs, right? This is a back bend, kind of see how the back arches. Okay, now sit low, big inhale. Now shift forward. If you want to try it, we come back to the arms, knees on triceps, shift forward for the crow. One foot lifts on the other. Big toes touch, heels pull up. So we go back into the arms. I'm not going to have you do a second round of that twisting side plank. It's a very challenging exercise, likely to make you very sore. So now we'll bring it into symmetrical downward arms. Think of it like a second plank hold. It's basically the same thing. If you want to do handstand, anytime I teach crow or plank, if you want to do handstand or forearm stand, that's the same thing as well. So a lot of times if the teacher's open enough and they say plank, I'll just hold handstand. Plank's a little too easy because I practice a lot, okay? Here we go, guys. Hands on the floor, lift your legs, forward bend. Right leg goes back. Go slow, inhale, high lunge. Main goal is to get our twist going. Big inhale, hands in prayer. Lean your chest forward, let's twist to the left. Let's find our good deep twist. It's pretty much the deepest twist of class. We're gonna get one more softer, not compression option later, but I want that deep twist now, okay? How deep can you breathe? Don't forget your back knee can go down. Think stretching here, guys. But also active, so not like getting lazy through the body. Spine is lengthening, legs are strong. And you breathe into the abdomen here. So the flow went sagittal, transverse, coronal, balance, right? And then full body dynamics. So you can see the build, the progressive, the planes of movement, okay? Inhale, rise up, high lunge. Step your back foot in a little bit. Lift your back heel, lift the front toes, lift the ball of the front foot. Hold position, focus. Don't forget, you can just hold tree, just switching it up a little bit. I like to add the 2-foot balance variations. Not taught enough, in my opinion. Learn to balance on 2 feet as well as 1 foot. So we are going to go into our final part here, yogi. So you want to bend that front knee for a moment. Hands can go on hips, hands can go here. Reverse prayer for more. We're going to bow the chest forward, and then we're going to lift the right leg. Now, some of us are going to work that warrior 3, just dropping the right hip down, straightening the right leg. Others, a little bend in the standing knee, fly low, just straightening the top leg. So it's a little warrior 3 squat. In the first side, I kind of went straight for the big variation, but with practice, get low, kind of round, arch, and lengthen more. Okay? Get low and round, arch, and lengthen more. Some people call that a Shiva squat. Remember, Shiva is one of like the supreme king yogis. Not easy, guys. Kind of one of our peak movements. There's also, more fancy variations with the heel lifted, with the arms kind of moving like bird wings. Don't be shy to be a little bit more creative if you're pretty good at it and feeling good, okay? So you're doing those Shiva squats. Looks great, guys. When you're ready, just warrior 3, step the right foot forward, find your final chair. And we are going to go for that the toe balance today. So in chair, you can reach your arms forward, lift your heels. Now just notice my heels lift, my upper body kind of leans back, my knees go forward. Do you see that difference? This is what a lot of you look like here, heels lift. Watch the shoulders and the hips and the ankles stack. Not easy, right? Just work it. We're strengthening the knees here, the knee stabilizers. Now, little challenge. See if you can stand up with your heels lifted. And then just bend the knees again. This is like the last big leg thing, guys, so I want you to work it. We already did our bridges, all right? I'm going to do back bends a little bit more like a stretch variation here in the end for the bow. So I want you to work those legs one last time. It's the front, because we're going right into bow. It's going to stretch the front. So if you feel a lot of tightness through like around the knee and the hip flexor, that's normal, okay? Now, next time you go here, bring it on the chest. If you want one last quick crow, go ahead. Does everyone get those heel lifted squats? Really good stuff for body weight. Turn on the toes. Toes atrophy in shoes. All right? We want to keep turning on our toes more. All right? Now listen, I'll keep going. Some of you is doing your crow and headstand. You're doing your thing. Take your time. Down to your chest. So a little extra work on that crow today for our upper body strength with the chaturangas and the side plank. Not too much though. Lengthen your core. We're going to go for bow today. If you can't do bow, locust. If you can't do like that, you don't feel up to that, you want to do camel, a nice stretch, okay? Hands reach back. Heels bend toward hips. Grab the outer edges of the feet. Yogis, I want you to think like stretch, but also activation. So start to kick and simultaneously lift the chest. Take a few breaths here. Try to relax a little bit, yogis. A lot of you, I see, and you look like you're kind of overstraining, like locking. Try to relax a little bit, guys. That's one of our main practices in yoga. Go into postures that really strain us. Work on being a little bit more clear, level-headed there, okay? Now listen, release very slow. Bring your left ear on the mat, arms down by sides. Take a break. This is our last active stuff. This is it. It's either locust, we're not doing any more abs, we're just going for straight back, middle back. And the reason I'm choosing this right now is because we started with that fish, strengthen our middle back. Okay, here we go. Bow, chin forward, arms back, kick and lift. I'd like you to do one more round here. If you have time, you can do 2 rounds. One more solid round of an active stretch like back bend. All right? Any back bend is fine. You want to do handstand scorpion, you want to do reverse plank, that works too. But I do want you in your back body because we're going to hit forward bend hard here in a second. I'll be right back, yogis. Give me one moment. Take a rest after that bow. Sorry, guys, we got a new puppy, and she was just going wild. Just making, she was going nuts down there. All right, guys, so listen, we're going to meet on our chest. Quick starter stretch here, all right? So we're on the chest, right arm reaches out, roll to your right, stretching to your right shoulder. Relax your head down. So we're on our chest with our right arm out. Your gentle yogis, we do this one all the time, right? So the right arm's out, we're kind of rolling to that right, feeling a stretch through our right shoulder, even bicep, like elbow, chest. Some of us, with that left leg up and over, you start to feel that wrap down the transverse abdomen to even your front outer left hip. It's a really nice stretch for posture. It's a postural correction, letting the pec major lengthen to allow that shoulder to release back, okay? Remember, the number one postural deviation in the average person, it's like 69% of people, it's this shoulders rolling forward, okay? That's why I preach a lot of lateral rotation. Once I read that stat, okay? Here we go, left arm out, roll to your chest, push through your right hand, deep breath. Now don't forget, there's bent arm, there's bound variation, with the palm face up. Don't be shy to switch it up a little bit. Take a few breaths here, close your eyes. Now take your time, right? We're kind of just stretching and making this personal. I keep moving forward for the group. So you're gonna take a moment. You might come back to center, press the child pose. We're gonna do frog today, guys. We didn't do any half moon. We didn't do any triangle. No straddle forward fold. So I'm gonna go big on those inner thighs now, but frog. If you can't do frog, little butterfly stretch, legs up the wall, they fall apart. That can all work. But if you're gonna try it, big stretch today. Gotta do this one every couple weeks, all right? I start in tabletop. Gotta pad your knees, right? Widen your feet, widen your knees. Widen your feet, widen your knees. And notice I did not say bring your hips forward or back. Look at the inner edge of my feet turned down. You see that, how my toes are now turned open? I'm trying to get my knees more apart, okay? And then I bring the chest down, come onto my forearms. But yogis, let me show you. What I see a lot is this. Notice how the hips are still in the same space as when the knees were under. The knees just widen. The feet are like slightly wider than the knees. And then I gotta close my eyes and meditate here, guys. All right, deep breathing. With practice, you come down to your chest. The reason I can do it on the hard wood without pain is because it's on the muscle, not on the bone. The wider your knees get, the actual easier it is on the knees. So for those of my people who can't get those legs very open, you're still kind of on the bone, like the harder knee. It's gonna be more irritated. So keep working. Pad those knees initially, but eventually you won't need as much padding. Try to relax and breathe. Right about another minute. Try to relax, yogis. Right? You take a nice deep inhale, and the exhale, melt a little bit. Try to notice if you're holding tension or guarding, they call it, like subconsciously contracting muscles without really noticing, okay? Stick with it, last about 15, 20 seconds. Now take your time, right? Put weight in your hands, bring your feet closer together, put weight in your feet, take weight out of your knees and bring your knees slowly in. Nice job there. So we hit the fascial minimum, right? About a minute and a half, 2 minutes there. So you're gonna shake that out. I'm gonna teach Gomukhasana. If you wanna do another outer hip stretch, double pigeon, figure four, compressive pigeon, I saw somebody do that earlier. I love this hip stretch. It's bilateral and it's deeper in the hip joint than say like usually on pigeon for most people. If you're new, watch me, right heel outside left knee. Watch how I lean left, swing left foot out to the right. I bring my right sit bone down inside my left heel. So the normal thing is here, guys, we want to sit on that left heel, but I'm not doing that. I got to get that sit bone down inside. Now, so you can sit on a block here, guys. I roll on the outer edge of my feet. I pull my feet back, stacking my knees more. Okay? Now, you sit up tall, you root your sit bones down. You don't want to be like this. Okay? That's how it is in the beginning. That's just tension pull. So sit up, and let's compress and forward bend. Now, some of us are just going to stay here and breathe. Others might want to add our shoulders. Left arm goes up, palm face behind me. I might say a strap or a towel in your hand here. You bend that elbow, the towel drifts down your spine. Look at my elbow, it hugs in and relaxes my shoulder down. Right arm out, palm face behind. Bend elbow, grab shirt, towel strap. Hug elbows in. Hands eventually combine. Big inhale, lift chest, and then we forward fold. Pretty much the biggest stretch of class if you're doing those arms. If not, I think frog, a little bit bigger there in the hips. How deep can you breathe, guys? Can you reduce unnecessary movements? Can you enjoy it more? Big inhale. Slowly sit upright, release arms. If you know how to switch fancy ways, you can. I'll leave that out today. You're just going to release top leg, bottom leg. And then second side, left heel outside right knee, lean to the right. Right leg swings around to the left. Left sit bone gets down slowly inside that heel. Takes a lot of adjusting, especially if you're new to this type of position. All right, just watch out for those knees. Sit on pillows, okay? Outer edge of feet pull back, knees start to stack more. Okay, so eventually your kind of knees will really be stacked here. Big inhale, root sit bones down, sit up and forward bend. Some of us sit up right arm up, palm face back, reach down the spine, hug elbow in, relax shoulder from ear. I like to always say, make sure your shoulders and your ears have a long distance relationship. Left arm out, palm face behind. Hands walk toward each other, strap towel, works good. Elbow in, chest lift, forward bend. Deep breathing, guys, try to relax. So what I'd like you to do is take another 3 breaths there. And what we're going to do eventually is meet in seated position. It's about 10 right now on the dot. And I do want to give you another minute to 2 just to kind of prepare for meditation. We don't want to go straight from an extreme stretch into trying to do subtle meditation work, okay? So I mentioned earlier a closing twist. We did one on the back, a moving one. We did one in the stretch form. We did a standing one. It's kind of a good general rule of thumb. A twist on your back, a twist standing, a twist seated, twist moving, twist stretching, and twist strengthening. So if you want just something nice and gentle, you could sit up now and just take a nice little gentle twist here. You know, we don't always have to end in the biggest twist, okay? So you can gaze over your left shoulder, kind of lifting the chest and twisting. A bigger variation could be something like this, feet wide, knees left, swing it around behind us. But how about we take one more twist here of choice? If you don't feel like you need a twist, maybe just throwing your legs forward, sitting up tall and forward bending, okay? If you want to go big, lay on your back, swing your legs up over your body. Not too much inversion practice today, so if you want to throw those legs up in the air. How about we say 1.5 minutes? That's enough time for, a short inversion hold, a stretch or two. After that, be ready for meditation practice. The subtle body. And just to give you some, information about where we're headed, in yoga, we have something called the doshas. We have something called the koshas. Now, the koshas are the physical body, layers of the bodies, right? So we have these different bodies or different layers. And the first layer in yoga that we study in Hatha is called the physical body, just to keep it simple. I'm not going to throw all the fancy terms at you there. It's just your physical body. It's the connecting, the studying, the being more aware, the spending time with, the bringing attention to the physical. Now, the second layer is the energy body. They call it the pranamaya. So it's funny, it's called the pranamaya kosha, and that means the illusion of the energy body, right? But I won't get into that. That's too deep of a discussion. So you're finishing up your twist, so I can just get you right into meditation after this. So what we're going to do today is look at the pranamaya kosha directly, which brings us into the manomaya, which is your mind. The third is like your thought body, they call it. We have a body that's created by thoughts. If you think about it like an invention, the first thing that happens is the inspiration, desire for the light bulb. And then there's like the emotions involved. That's the next layer, but it's in reverse. And then there's the visualizing the thoughts of the light bulb. And then the energy goes into creating it, and then it manifests in the physical. So the way we look at it in yoga is to open up this pathway of creation in the mind and body and the existence is from physical backward to spiritual inspiration. Once that pathway is open, then it flows better the other way too. Okay, so let's start to find fit. I hope that made sense. I don't know. That was kind of, it didn't even make sense to me really. But let's sit up nice and tall. What we're doing is studying the layers of ourselves, guys. Physical asana, that's the beginner. It doesn't matter if you're doing handstand on one arm or stretching your big toe. It's all this kind of pranamaya. Now, the more challenging the physical, the more the deeper layers come in. So we're going to look at the second layer right now, the pranamaya kosha. The main way we really look at this body to start is through the breath. We haven't done breath work in class in quite a few weeks, a month or two, so I want to bring that back around. So let's find a comfortable seated position. I'm sitting on a block. I don't want any strain on my back. I like to sit in this kind of supported Virabhadra. I don't like to sit cross-legged as much if I'm going for meditation. So I'm lifting my crown up. I'm sitting tall. I'm shaking my shoulders out. I take a few moments to intentionally get comfortable. Now I make the commitment to sit nice and tall and to start after the movement to be comfortable. I got to stop moving. Remember, if you're starting meditation practice, it's the first thing is just say, can you sit still? That's it. We don't give you any other objective. There's no breathing. It's just sit still. Okay? So you're going to sit up nice and tall. Be very still. You're going to close your eyes and start to connect to the inner sensations. So your inner eye opens. They call it the third eye. You start to notice the breath with your attention. So practice bringing your attention to your breath. Now set the intention to control the breath. So think of a count, maybe a 6 count to start. So a slow inhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe holding the breath at the top for 3, 2, 1. Exhaling slowly for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding the breath at the bottom, 2, 1. Inhaling for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 5. And continue with that. So it's the longest part's the inhale. The second longest is the exhale. A medium-sized hold on the top, a shorter hold on the bottom. If your mind wanders from your pranamaya, your energy body, bring it back to your breath. Now stay with this practice, but I want you to try to see how this leads you into the Manomaya Kosha. So they say through the Pranamaya study and activation, the focus, it exposes a level of ourselves where we can really observe the thoughts. So that's the Manomaya, the thought body. Okay, it's not the emotional body just yet. The thought body leads you into the emotional body more. So now, staying with the breath work, but being more aware, meditating, looking, observing at the thought body. You know, the patterns of our thoughts. Do we tend to think negatively? This is where a lot of that work comes in with the gratitude meditation, or trying to keep our thoughts positive. If you're familiar with the Buddhist, the Zazen meditation, it's the practice of keeping your thoughts positive in the beginning. I love that style, by the way. We need to set intentions to start to, create thought processes that we desire. It's called default mind in modern neuroscience. So the mind wants to go to that beta, that stress, thinking about problems, thinking about fear, thinking about what the TV is constantly showing you to stress you out, but taking more control. So try to look at your thoughts almost as a witness, like you're your own therapist, getting you to look at yourself as a thought being. Where does your mind go a lot? And then you can start to see how this relates to the Vijan Maya. It's called the emotional body. And that is called the subconscious. So the thought body is considered more of that conscious brain center we're working on. The Vijan is both the emotions and the subconscious. So that's why we're working backwards, yogis. Instead of looking at the spirit first, into the emotional subconscious, into the conscious, into the energy, into the physical, we're working our way back through more kind of layers we can hold and visually see. So now I want you to look about how your thoughts create your emotional body, which is creating your subconscious. What are your emotional patterns? to your subconscious patterns. In a sense, this is the active part of our meditation, the self-study. We're going to take about another minute or two here, and then we're going to go into passive, just kind of sitting in the echoes of that. Now, that fifth layer, Ananda Maya, they call it the bliss body or the eternal self, the spirit, they call it. The yogis, we are a spirit with a body. We're not a body with a spirit, right? Yoga is based off this idea of reincarnation and karma. Krishna said, yoga doesn't begin until you live around karma. Try to notice how emotions relate to deeper spiritual qualities. Negative emotions tend to lead to less virtuous attitudes, character traits. Negative emotions tend to lead to less gratitude and humility, but positive attitudes reverse reflect how our spirit kind of is. So see how these all connect, and it all kind of starts with that physical, energetic layer, and it exposes and leads into more of that mental, emotional, subconscious, spiritual character work, the virtuous self. So today's meditation was to get a deeper look at the layers of the self and how they are kind of intertwined and connected. We're peeling away the layers like an onion to become more aware of the deeper realms of ourself. And I kind of gave it to you in a nutshell. Usually we do one at a time, but I want to give you that overview and see what was resonating with you. Now, as we enter into passive meditation, I'm not going to speak. I want you to sit with what we did, and maybe something kind of really resonated with you. When we do things like this, I like it as like, what really stuck out to you? Was there something I said, something you saw inside, something you remembered? You know what I'm talking about, that part that we know we got to deal with, our thoughts, our emotions, our breath work. Trust your instincts. If you need to lay, you can lay now. And I'm going to give you about 6 to 7 minutes here, sitting in the echoes of what resonated with us. Now, you can choose to work on one of those layers, or you can just relax and do Shavasana. I want you to close your eyes, get comfortable. And now, in a sense, practice your own style of meditation, whether it's passive or you're choosing a little bit more of an active, intentional approach relating to what we did, or something you're working on in your own practice. Like I give you free time in physical work, let's do free time in the mental work. Final part here, yogis. Stay with it.
Now take a moment here, yogis. And what I'd like you to do, if you remember a few weeks ago, I suggested the idea of a meditation journal. So kind of writing down ideas you get during the meditation, things you want to work on throughout your week. So taking meditation practices we learn on Sunday, maybe doing them another time or two. And the journaling, like, it's really good to kind of put it on paper, what we're working on, taking more time to reflect, reading it later in the week, and taking that process further. It's a really powerful tool, always suggested in the meditation world, or just yoga in general, just to kind of journal stuff. So just some food for thought. Take a moment to reflect on what you were working on, and remember to take that further. Okay. So when you're done here, guys, maybe loosen up your body. There's our first week looking at those koshas. And we're going to go further into that going forward. That was a very kind of general look at it. So good job, guys. Take a deep breath. Tradition yoga, we might just bow. Remember to bring that gratitude process into play here. And I really appreciate you guys showing up, yogis. Thanks for being here. Namaste.
Thank you, Howard.